Previously on Dear Emily.
When you put things in your own handwriting, it becomes personal then. Because just like our fingerprints and all this other stuff that's ours, even twins, they still have different fingerprints.
Yeah.
You know, so when you write it down and journal those things, that gives you a sense of responsibility to do something about it.
Cause my love came crashing down. I don't know if it ever will get back up again. I need someone to talk to. I'll say what I'm going through. Tired of complications.
Hey, it's your girl Emily, and welcome to Dear Emily. Today's episode, we have an amazing guest with us, okay? Mistress Rashonda Scott. I am going to have her be the one to introduce herself. She's a woman who wears many hats, and I'll just say that, but also someone that really helped to give birth to Dear Emily TV show and just Mending Hearts as a whole. So I see this time with her as an honor and as a privilege. Mistress Scott, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, well, the honor is all mine, to be honest with you. Like, I really love your show. I really love what you're doing, and I like how open your platform is to everyone. So it's an honor.
Thank you for being on, honestly. Tell us a little bit, who is Rashonda Scott and what do you do, the business, the hats that you wear? Tell us about that.
Oh, yes, the many hats. So first and foremost, I am a mom of 4. I am a wife, and I am a jewelry designer. I do a lot of things on runways. I have a jewelry business, which is kind of one of the reasons why I was able to connect with Emily. My brand is called Pieces of Kendakes, but in its original origin, it is Pieces of Kendaki. And I sell women's jewelry. With that, just opening that women empowerment space for jewelry, it has allowed me to pour into a lot of women's cups. And, you know, I'm just really grateful God is using me to keep all the women that, you know, I come across with full cups.
Yeah. Now, you said you pour into a lot of their cups. Do you have people in your life that's pouring in your cup?
I do. I feel that every person that's a pillar in the community, especially for women empowerment, they need someone that's a little bit stronger and that has a little bit of overflow to pour into your cup. That's the whole point of sisterhood, is a trickle-down effect of all of us sisters pouring into each other's cups.
Yeah. That's always good as a business person, or just as a person in general, to have, as you pour into people, to have people pour back into you. And it's good that you have that community around.
Yeah, well, this is something that God has, you know, even as a small child, I've always been a pillar of empowerment. So it's nice that, you know, as I've grown and I've developed, God has lined up people to pour back into my cup.
You just gotta love God, like
one time, one time for God.
This is really good because we're talking about fashion and family today. We're talking about fashion and family for today's episode, and I'm looking forward to learning about your journey. Like you stated, you are a mother, you are a wife, and you wear many hats, and you're a business owner. So tell us about your journey into fashion. Like, this is how this whole topic came about. So tell us your journey and the business that you have right now. How did that all come about?
Well, I guess it started like when I was a lot younger, of course. I was one of those people that was like, why do you have on so much jewelry? You have on so many jewelry. You got like 3 necklaces, 6 bracelets. You know, why do you have on so much? But I was always in love with jewelry. It was a way to express myself, whether that be with my culture, you know, my confidence. It just was a way to outwardly express myself. So that's where it all started. I had my business for about 4 years, and I just remember, like, I was actually a CNA because I do a lot of like just my time here on earth, I do a lot of work that allows me to work with my heart. And I remember like I had got my first back injury and I was just like, oh my God, well, what am I gonna do? My body's breaking down. I'm only 20 something. I feel like I'm like 70. This isn't going to be like my calling because it wouldn't be this hard. And so I remember getting out a piece of paper and I was like, okay, we're trying to write down all the things that you're good at, all the things that you're interested in. And I think I had probably like 100 things on that piece of paper, and jewelry was like on the top of the list. And I was like, I kind of put the list away. And then I came back to it and I was like, I need to do something with this. So I started making jewelry for my friends. Shout out to them for wearing the jewelry that was falling apart. You are appreciated. But, it started with just my friends, and it's just snowballed all the way up into me being able to showcase my jewelry in New York for Fashion Week, also for Minnesota Fashion Week. So it's been a great ride.
And you're killing it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to be humble, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much humble, but I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a good job. Yeah, and you wear multiple hats, like as a mom, a wife, and then you run an empire. Like literally, that's what it is. Every time I see your post, I check out the store online, and I'm like, wow, she's really killing it. Like, how do you find, or like you get the strength to just keep going with all the multiple hats that you wear?
Honestly, it's really the women that I'm able to connect with that really keep me going, because they need me. They need me to be in these spaces because I don't know, I feel like a unicorn. Like, if there's some people that are supposed to connect with me and it's supposed to be me, it's not supposed to be anybody else. They have to cross paths with me. And if I'm not walking in my purpose, how are they going to meet me? How are they going to see me? How am I going to pour into their cup?
We crossed paths. And
yes.
You poured into my cup, okay? So I'm glad that what you do is it's very relational. Even though you sell jewelry, right? But some people might think that, oh, that's just it. It has like, anybody can do that, but you're doing it with everything in you.
Yes, well, I feel like jewelry is like really intimate. So like my exchanges with my customers is very intimate, because I don't want it to be a situation where I'm trying to sell you something. I want you to fall in love with it. You know what I mean? Like, and I want you to put your earrings on and be like, you know what? I remember I had these earrings on when this special occasion happened for me. Or I remember I bought this jewelry last year from Pieces of Candace, and I bought this intentionally to achieve a goal. When I achieved the goal, I wore it that day, So jewelry is really intimate.
Yeah, I've never heard that, like jewelry and intimacy, or like just intimate. Not intimacy in that way, y'all. Okay, jewelry and intimate, like going hand in hand. Like, I've never connected those two. So it's really unique that you've done that. And hopefully the people that are watching are like, yeah, because it makes a lot of sense now that you're saying it and I'm thinking about it. So thank you for the work that you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's better me than someone that doesn't know how to do it.
Like me, I don't know how to do it.
Don't worry, Emily, I got you. Put me on the wardrobe.
Okay. Oh my God, you hear that, y'all? Man, this is so good. So with someone who is in your line of work, like the fashion industry, and trying to bring creativity to life, right? But they also are trying to figure out balancing out family and all those things. What would you say to someone like who is in your world?
Honestly, I would say if you have children, find a way to include them. There's only 24 hours in a day. And sometimes you have to double up some of your hats. So for instance, like my daughter is 11. My daughter knows how to run my vending table, and that's our way of exchanging energy and bonding over jewelry. Like my son, he'll help with, like, if I need something set up, my son will help me set up. Same thing with my husband. He'll help me set up. But you have to find ways to include your family in what you're doing, because at the end of the day, that's who you're doing it for, essentially. You're essentially trying to build this legacy for them. So why not include them on the journey?
Mm-hmm. I like that you include your family and you have a husband who's supportive of what you do. So what do you tell someone, or what would you say to someone who don't have that?
First and foremost, when I first started this, you have to understand, we've been together for 13 years, so we have had time to build rapport with one another and get to know each other, and figure out like our strengths and our weaknesses and those types of things. But if you don't have the support, just keep going. They'll see it when they see it. The vision that God has given for you is specifically for you, so nobody else is going to get it until they see it. So I would just say, just stick it out. Try to find some balance in your relationship. Don't forget to date, because those are important. Don't forget to date. Don't forget to be intimate. You just have to find balance.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is finding that balance, right? And we're going to get to the Dear Emili letter, because somebody wrote a letter and the woman is like, I want to figure it out on what to do. So, and I'm like, I don't know. We're going to have Rashonda on set, so she'll be able to tell you what to do.
I got you, so my love. I got you.
But that seems to be like, it's a struggle for a lot of people who are trying to figure out this, like being a business owner. And some people even have 9 to 5, right? Mm-hmm. But then they do their business as a side hustle, and then wondering like, how in the world do I just merge everything and I don't overwhelm myself? So Rashonda, how do you self-care?
So Sundays, I'm out of commission. I'm nobody's mom and nobody's wife. I don't work for pieces of canned eggs. I am off the grid, probably at a lake, maybe journaling, just whatever I need for the day. I may be getting a facial, but on Sundays, like, I'm unavailable. And it's so crazy, because when I first started this, everybody in my house was confused. Like, they would say, Mommy, you have to ask your dad. They're like, oh. So I can't ask her. But after a couple of weeks, they started to get it. Like, Sundays is Mommy's day, and she is doing whatever she wants to do on this Sunday. But you do have to set aside time for yourself. Whether that means the children go with the kids. The children go with a father, maybe a close friend or relative, but you have to make time, for yourself. And you'd be surprised. Even with small children, you'd be surprised if you set that boundary that they'll follow your lead. Yeah. They will.
Yeah. Learn to set some time for yourself.
You have to, because how can you pour into anybody with an empty cup?
Yeah.
You can't pour into your children, give them the best mommy that they deserve, or be the best wife that your husband deserves, or be the best business owner or mentor or, sister or mother. You can't do those things on an empty cup. And it sounds really selfish, but it's not. It's not selfish.
Yeah. If you don't take care of yourself, like you're saying, how do you take care of other people?
Yeah, and right? who's going to do it?
And who's going to do it?
Who's going to take care of you?
Who's going to take care of you? Yeah. There's so many times in my life, Rashonda, that I have operated out of an empty cup. And it's really hard but yet the messages, the emails, the letters from Dear Emili, it doesn't stop coming. So you're reading everybody else's issues and you're like, okay, I'm pouring into this person, pouring into this, pouring into family. But then you get to a place where, or at least I got to a place like, okay, I need to figure out a way to pour into me and to have a community. And I reached out to you, a couple of times, and I told you, like, it's hard out here in these streets. Like, but you always need that community, but to get to a place where you are able to step back, breathe, pause, and then reset. And that was something that was hard for me to do. Yeah.
You have to, because I don't feel like the execution could be the best that it possibly could be with the empty cup.
Yeah.
It can't be. You're not operating, you're not thinking, your mind isn't like fresh with ideas. There's no way to operate with an empty cup. And I feel like one of the things that helps me is like not just like boundaries with self-care, but just boundaries with my business in general. Boundaries just, you know, with all of my relationships so that my cup is remaining full. Like for me, I think about my business like a 9-to-5. Like for my 9-to-5, when I go to my 9-to-5, I am completely committed to whatever the workload is for my 9-to-5. And then I have my lunch break. So that's how I operate my business. I have maybe some meetings in the morning, then have my lunch break, then maybe I'll be making jewelry at this time. And by the time I get done with my business, my kids are walking in the door. So now I have like maybe an hour to like reset me and then step into mommy mode. But you have to set boundaries with all of your many hats, and a schedule is key. If you don't have a schedule, I don't know how you're gonna pull it off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The boundary piece is so important. Like separating job from family sometimes, and even like your personal life, even though your business is a part of that, but being able to pump the brakes. And my partner and I were having a conversation, and then I remember like replaying these letters, like Dear Emily letters, just asking questions. And he was like, this is Dear Emily, like you're literally, the letters that you got from Dear Emily are the questions that we're talking about right now.
Oh wow.
And I had to remind myself, like, okay, like I'm not, like, this is not Dear Emily, this is just Emily, you know? And sometimes it's hard because you take these like stories with you, you take people journey with you and all of that, and for you to be able to separate that can be hard. So the fact that you just said that like business boundary, it resonated with me, because I think I have to like really check myself sometimes when it comes to
yeah, because okay, like another thing I do too, like okay, after I've done my business for the day, I've taken care of mommy mode, you know, everything that's required for the day. For that, I also have to maintain my business boundaries after that. Like after I have like this fresh moment of like, oh, everything's done, the kids are in the bed, that is my time for me.
Yeah.
So I can't be on, you know, Facebook, Instagram, emails, checking stuff, responding to people. Because, you know, you gotta find, and it's not just on Sunday, you have to find time throughout the day, every day, that is platonically just you, by yourself.
Yeah.
And whatever the day requires.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me going, just having those moments of self-care throughout every day.
Yeah. Man, I need to apologize to that man because I dump a lot of stuff every day with Dear Emily stuff. But you're right though. Find time for you like throughout the day, and not just a specific time, but throughout the day, try to find some time.
Yeah, you have to, you can't really, sometimes I don't feel like you can put a time on like when you need self-care. You know, you might be depleted by noon. Sometimes you might be depleted by 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? So just listen to your body and your spirit, and whatever it requires, stop business, stop whatever, and fill your cup right there.
Yeah.
And then with your partner too, like you gotta kind of like see the shoe on the other side. Like, how would you feel if you like miss this person all day, you've been at work all day, and you get in the bed and they're like on Instagram, or they're answering emails, like not even listening to like maybe your work story, or you know.
I would be pissed.
Exactly. So you just have to like just remind yourself to be considerate of your partner's needs. They're all different, you know, love languages are different, but just being attentive to those needs as you can.
Yeah. Some people just need a hug. I'm a hugger. So like,
yes,
physical touch is very important.
Right. That's what I'm saying about that phone. Like, no, don't be hugging me in on Instagram.
Let me just respond. But I'm hugging you. Yeah, there's gonna be no more hugs like after that.
Nope.
Thank you so much. Like, we just talked a little bit about being able to blend fashion and then family, and we'll go in the end to talk a little bit about your business and what you do, and even some of the services that you offer, because you're a mentor. And
Yes.
yeah, and you're somebody that I consider a mentor, and maybe there are women who are interested in the fashion business and the jewelry world, and they're just like, I don't know where to start, but I've had that passion since I was a little girl, or even guys, like since I was a little boy, like how do I go about starting that? And you just shine some light on that.
Yeah, because it's honestly, especially for people of color, like the jewelry lane is like really narrow for us. You know, there's like a couple of us here and there, but you don't really have an example of like, okay, so how do I do this from start to finish?
Yeah.
You kind of have to just like, it feels like you just have to wing it. Like you just learn from your mistakes. But I'm definitely open to like helping anybody, you know, cut some corners, you know, handing out some resources and some advice for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. We're going to take a little break, and then when we get back, we will talk about a letter from a lovely woman who has some questions, and Rashonda, okay, is here. She's in the hot seat, so she will for sure be able to offer some advice and some tips on how she has been running her business and her family. Like you all know, today's episode is Fashion and Family / Dear Emili letter for the day. So we will be right back, but in the meantime, feel free, the number that will be on the screen, you can donate any amount, it counts, and you can also send us stars on Facebook, because videos will be posted on Facebook and every star counts, okay? We will be right back after the break. Thank you. Welcome back to Dear Emili, and today we are talking about fashion and family / a Dear Emili letter that's going to be read. I've been here with the wonderful, the amazing, okay, a woman who wears many hats, someone that I truly admire in the business world, Rashonda Scott, and she's just been really amazing. In the meantime, when you see the number on the screen, feel free, okay, to donate to Dear Emili TV show, or when you see any of the videos like posted on Facebook, feel free to send us stars. Every star count. We are going to jump into Dear Emili letter with Mistress Scott, okay, because I can't handle these things by myself, y'all. So that's why we have guests to be able to, for us to dissect the letter. And Rashonda, you know that this is one of the reasons why Dear Emili was birthed, was for people to be able to anonymously send out their letters, their concerns about their relationship, business, and whatsoever. And I've had about 100 plus letters like come in from men and from women, from youth, just talking about life and like relationships and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that you're on here for us to talk about this part, like the Dear Emili letter, because a woman sent a letter.
Ooh.
And she needs help. So hopefully she is watching, and she will be watching this episode so that she can get her questions, and everybody else who might just be in the same boat that haven't gotten to their letter yet, to be able to answer that. So you want me to get into the letter?
Yes.
Okay. I had somebody write to Dear Emili, and this woman says she is a wife, she's a mother, she's a family person, and she is starting her business. Like, her business is not, she started her business, it's up and running, but now she's seen herself like not having time. not having time for the date, the date, not as a wife, not having time for family, not even having time for being a sister and all those things. And she's wondering, like, how in the world do business women deal with all of this? Because she knows her business is going to grow and it's just going to keep growing. But like, how do you get to a place to really be able to balance that out so that you don't lose what's important to you?
So first, I would suggest her writing out her needs. What are the needs that you need throughout the day? I would write a list of your tasks and prioritize those: business, family, and in your relationship. Also, I know it's hard, but you're gonna have to squeeze in a date night, sweetheart. You're gonna have to let him know that you see that he exists. You're gonna have to make time throughout every day for your partner. One thing that really helped me when I first started out is that schedule, and also not ignoring business hours. Like, once your business hours are done, they are done. You need to move on to your family or your partner or yourself even. But write down your priorities, write down your needs, write down your wants. I have so many lists at home. Write down my goals quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. My planner has definitely helped a ton. But those are some of the things that you have to do, because you have so many hats and you have to obviously take care of your tasks per the hat, but you also have to make sure your cup is full so that you can fulfill those things within those hats. And another thing too, like, give yourself some grace. Like, it's only 24 hours in a day. You may or may not get all your tasks done, but give yourself grace.
Yeah, so the scheduling, hopefully this person is watching, okay, and that other people who are even in this category can be able to take from it, that set some time, schedule, like, task, write your goals and keep looking at those goals. And a word that came up was like prioritize, pretty much, like everything prioritized by setting a schedule, your task, and all those things, and being able to look back at your goals. So Rashonda, I've had a lot of people who have written to Dear Emily, aside from this letter, where they're like, it's really hard for me to have a conversation with my spouse, with my partner, without bringing up my job, like without talking about the business growth, without bringing about the goals. And there are people who are having sex and they're like, my business, like literally they're right after that conversation, then they jump right back into work mode and business mode. So for the business owners that are watching, the women, and even this person who wrote this letter, like, when you do have date nights, whether that's in the bedroom, that's at a hotel, that's at a nice restaurant, how do you not talk about business or talk about everything else, but to just focus on the two of you? And how did you do that in your relationship, in your marriage?
So as a business owner, my mind is always on business. But one thing that really helped is maybe not talk, but maybe listen. And add value to whatever he's talking about, or vice versa, whatever she's talking about, but listen. So they know that you heard them, you're interested in whatever is going on in their world, but listen and add value to the conversation.
Yeah. Rashonda, now let me throw me under the bus. This is my Dear Emily. I'm a relationship coach, right? And all I think about is relationship. That some people might even think that, okay, she already, this is very manipulative, because she already knows the questions to bring up when it comes to relationship. How do I go on a date with my partner and not bring up anything that has to do with Dear Emily, or that has to do with relationship, or even when we talk on the phone? Because I have the tendency to do that.
Mhm.
I have the tendency to do that. Like, okay, and this is it. And what about this? And what would you do this? In this scenario? And then I have this man like, okay, this is like extreme. Like, like this is not us. Like, don't talk about it. This is too early. But how do I, dear Emily, now Emily is like, she needs help, okay? Because Rashonda is just amazing and she's going to solve my problem. So how do I do that? How do I like not talk about relationship? Because I'm always tempted.
You just have to do it. Like, you know, like it may require you to have a friend that you can bounce ideas with. You know what I'm saying? Like, find someone in your life that you trust, that you can bounce ideas with. So that way, by the time you get to your spouse or your significant other, it's all about like you guys and what you guys enjoy outside of your work titles.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know for me, like, I like to go hiking, so we'll talk about different places we're gonna go hike at.
Okay.
So find something that you both genuinely enjoy and talk about that.
Wow.
And then you'll see the light in their eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about this and they just be like, you know? Like, oh, okay, hurry up with this conversation. But when you talk about something like, especially if you've been like in a relationship for a long time, you talk about some of the things that you guys used to do together and start doing those things. Like, you got to keep the spark alive. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Well, dear Emily, I hope you're listening because this is my question. Okay. So Emily is coming to dear Emily for her. Shit, help me. Okay. But this is good because there's so many people in the business world. Like, there's so many women sometimes who even feel guilty, you know, for going after their dreams. And I can only imagine, like, this woman who wrote this letter, whoever she is just like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like, I feel like I just either need to be a wife and be a mother, because sometimes society tells you that that's it. Like, once you're a wife, like, prioritize that. And you should. Once you're a mother, like, prioritize that. But sometimes it stops your dream. Because then if you have and I don't know if she has a supportive spouse or not, because this is not mentioned, but if you have a partner or a spouse who is just not supportive at all, you know, about what you do, you're just gonna like just keep going, because now it's just like, you don't care about my dreams and my ambitions in this business. I'm just going to ignore you, even though you were my priority, but in this season, you're not. Like, the business is a priority. So I can imagine, and I don't know if you ever got to that place where you sometimes like felt guilty for going after your business and doing your own thing, and maybe not going on those date nights and not going, not taking your kids to the park, you know, as you would want to, or as you wanted to, because the business was still maturing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that guilt does happen, but you have to remember your why. When that guilt comes in, you have to remember your why. Like, for me, my why is I want my daughters and my son to see what women empowerment looks like, so as they grow and they develop, they have a sense of adding value to the community. And that's what keeps me going. Another thing for me in particular, I include my kids in everything that I do. Like, every move that I make, every like milestone, like, my kids are present somewhere down the line. Or it may not be my kids, maybe it's my spouse. But I try to include my family. That kind of helps with that guilt. It's like, okay, well, even though I am like trailblazing, my business is going great, I still want my family to be included. Like, when you're hitting those milestones and you look over and your spouse is there or your kids is there, it's just like powerful. Like, oh my God, like, this is what I'm doing it. This is who I'm doing it for. And they're able to see what I'm doing and why I'm not available and why I missed this and why I missed that. So that really helps, including your family.
Yeah. So to the lady who wrote the letter, like, everything you just said it's important, you know, and to figure out your why. Like, if there's one thing that I'm going to take from this, even about my, my question that I asked earlier on is the why,
Yeah, you have to, you got to constantly remember yourself about that why. There's going to be so many obstacles, so many barriers that are going to be in your way trying to prevent you from getting to your goals. And a lot of this stuff is in your mind, like things you've told yourself, like, oh, I can't do this because of XYZ, or, oh man, I went up for this opportunity and they said no. But at the end of the day, your why is on the other side, still waiting for you to fulfill your purpose. So keep reminding yourself about that why.
Mm-hmm. So to the lady, the letter we just read, and her situation, and everybody else that's watching this, the viewers, as you post in the comment, make sure that you share with us like what stood out to you, and maybe you have some tips for this person, this woman. She could be the one who's also responding. Love to know who wrote that letter about really trying to balance out being a wife, being a mom, being a sister, and also having a business that she knows is going to grow. Because she was very confident in her letter that my business is growing and it's blooming. How do I pump the brakes now and know what's going on before I get to the top, because I know I'm going to get there.
And then another thing I did forget to mention, if there's something that you can't deliver in your business, then it's time to hire.
Yeah,
it's time to outsource people, and you'd be surprised, the different roles that you could add that fit your budget for your growing business. You'd be surprised. You could hire an assistant for very cheap. You know what I mean? You could hire a family member to be your assistant while you're doing what you're doing, But think about ways to get your time back, because you don't want to be in a situation where you feel like you're working a 9-to-5 again. And that's just it. There's no end game of, when do I get my time for myself and my time for my family back? So if you need to outsource, don't feel guilty for outsourcing.
Yeah.
Because as you grow, honestly, do you think Steve Jobs is doing it by himself? No. He's got a full team, probably 50,000 or so employees that are helping him work towards this goal. So don't put that much pressure on yourself.
Yeah. And it's easy for us to do that. Right?
Yeah.
It's easy to put pressure on yourself, and it's really hard for you to take it off sometimes, especially if you wear many hats.
Yeah, and then too, with your business, you're oh, they didn't do it right. It's like, move, I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't do it how I wanted it done.
Yeah.
But you just got to get comfortable with delegating and having a team, because you can't do it all by yourself.
No. And you shouldn't.
No.
You shouldn't. If you have the resources, you shouldn't have to do, run a growing business, by yourself. You should have other people, because then you're providing jobs for people who need it.
Absolutely. You're probably providing jobs to the community.
Yeah. Wow. So to the person who wrote this letter, whoever you are, wherever you are, Rashonda has all the answers. You just literally sorry about my own issues. Okay. And Rashonda fixed my life, and she literally just fixed my life. I want to thank you for being on and sharing with us about your business, about your family, but also being able to answer someone's question, letters that they wrote about where they are at on their business journey and having to figure life out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, because I remember when I got there, I didn't have any business owners to ask. So I kind of had to figure it out all on my own. When I was really young when I started my business, and my peers weren't even in the scope of thinking about starting a business.
Yeah.
So if I can help another sister in need, I am all for it.
Yeah. And you do that well. Honestly, you just helped my life. Like I just said, you should have a show like Rashonda Fixed My Life, and I'll literally be, Dear Emily will be coming to you, because Emily has issues as well as everybody else.
Oh my God. But that's true. Like everyone, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You need someone to pour into you, and you need a different perspective.
Yeah. And I'm glad I have that. And you're one of those people that I know I can go to and talk to about all my issues. Who knows? Maybe my partner one day might just send you a message and be like, "Dear Emily, keep talking about all of our issues." Like, she needs to stop. Okay. But thank you so much. So before we close out for today with today's episode of Family Fashion / Dear Emily Letter, why don't you tell us about your business, how you can be reached, if you have your own store, if there's a location, and anything else that we need to know about what you're doing.
Yes. So again, I started my business in 2019, and I serve women. A lot of my customers are women of color. But I do custom orders. Like I do make custom waist beads, I make custom headsets, just a lot of different custom things, custom crowns and things like that. You just have to send me an email via my website, and then I can get you taken care of. But I'm on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What's the other ones? All the other ones, YouTube. LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn is yep.
But I am in all of them. It is Pieces of Candace, Pieces of KANDAKES jewelry. So you can find me there. But I do have a couple of events that are coming up. I actually have a fashion show that I'm doing, which I'm super excited about. It's called Dark Spring. And in this fashion show, it'll be a theatric fashion show, which I have literally never seen done before ever. And in the show, it'll go through all the 9 stages of grieving. So if you've lost someone, this is a show for you. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. It'll be June 17th. And then I have another fashion show that's going to be more streetwear, and it'll be June 29th. If you go on my website, all this information is on there, because I know that was a lot, but all of the information is on my website. So thank you.
Wow. And we will get all of those information, and during this episode, as it's playing, your information will be on there, your website, so people can visit and all those things, and to be able to get in touch with you and purchase all of those things.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be on there, and I look forward to us working together more.
Absolutely. I love the show.
You got to say that like with so much confidence and enthusiasm.
I love the show.
Yeah, did you hear
I
that?
love the show.
So subscribe. Okay.
Please subscribe.
Oh, you're so kind. And I'm just telling people what to do. See, it's the coaching side of me.
Right.
Thank you so much. Today's episode, everyone, we have Mistress Rashonda Scott, who joined us as we've been talking about fashion and family / Dear Emily Letter, and she's done so well. Like I said, this is somebody that I admire in our community. Okay, a Black woman doing her thing. Okay, and she's doing it so well, building an empire, leaving a legacy, not just for her kids, but even for generations to come along. So it's been an honor, and it's been a pleasure to even have you on here. Thank you.
The honor is all mine.
Oh, you're so, I love it. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this episode. Mistress Scott, her information will be posted on how you can reach her, get a hold of her, her business. Feel free, go on her website. It will be posted to purchase. Okay. And she's rocking her jewelry like right now. Exactly. So go on there. You will not regret it. For everyone that's watching or that will be watching, there will be a number on the screen. If you want to donate to Dear Emily, please feel free to do so. Every dollar counts, okay? And there will be a Facebook post that will be posted by Keg Media, feel free to send us stars because every star count. And Dear Emily is here to be a solution, to offer a solution to your relationship and your life questions. And we do that by bringing on guests like Rashonda here, who is not just a business owner, but also a family person, to be able to shine light in the realities of life. And sometimes it's easy for us to forget about that, to be so busy and forget that we're all human and we just need to take a break, we just need to breathe, but also have a community of people that is supporting you along the way.
Very important.
Yeah, so thank you so much for joining once more. Okay,
You're welcome.
thank you. Everyone, thank you, and I will see you next time on Dear Emily. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.